Hey everybody, it's your girl Mariah Sincere, and I'm back with another video. Before I get started, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so that my message can get spread across these YouTube streets. Okay, y'all, I have a different kind of video for y'all today. For those of y'all who do not know, I am a practitioner of Buddhism, and we celebrated the Theravada New Year. Okay, Theravada is a school of Buddhism. So at my Buddhist temple, I go to a Theravada Buddhist temple. We celebrated that today, and it was really beautiful, y'all. Like they had the temple all decked out, and of course, you know, everybody brought their offering for the monks, and then they have different festivities. You know, you pay respects to the elders, you pay respect to like your parents. It's just all type of things. They had a parade, they had food. So I'm really just so full for that experience, and I've been thinking for a couple of weeks now that maybe I should start a series on Buddhism as it relates to relationships. And when I talk about it, it's not going to be just romantic relationships. This is going to be about your relationships with your kids, your relationships at work, your relationships with your friends. Like it all coincides. And I'm doing it with the hope that you will take some of the more practical advice that I give and be able to find where the spiritual and the practical intersect. Okay, because that's what I aspire to do, and that's what I strive to do in my daily life. Okay. Also, one of our greatest teachers transitioned at the beginning of this year in January. His name is Thich Nhat Hanh, and some of y'all might already know him. He pretty much introduced Buddhist philosophy to the Western world. He was an opposer to the Vietnam War. He established several monasteries across the world, including Plum Village, which is in France, which does yearly retreats for Buddhists. And honestly and truly, his talks, his Dharma talks, got me through some of the lowest points in my life. Okay, there were times where I could not self-soothe. Like I was just so hurt, and I needed a word. I needed something to help me get through the day. And just listening to this man's words helped me to get out of bed, like literally get out of bed and make it through the day. And his teachings will always live through me and the people that listen to him. So in that regard, he will never die. And I also want to do this message today that I have in honor of him. And I'm going to be talking about letting go. Okay. So I'm going to be reading from this book that I borrowed from the library. You guys, anytime I bring a book up, I'm all about saving coins. You do not have to go out and buy books. Get you a library card. I don't know why people act like the library is not a thing anymore. Every major city and a lot of smaller cities have libraries. You do not have to be rich to enrich your mind. Go to the library. I borrow books all the time and bring them back. So this book that I'm going to be reading from today is called Love for Imperfect Things. This was written by a Buddhist monk. I cannot pronounce this right, so just bear with me. I think it's Hyman Sunim, okay? But just write this down. And I actually stumbled upon this book looking for another book, but something led me to pick it up. And as soon as I started reading it, I was like, this book was for me, okay? So basically, it's just about, you know, learning how to accept yourself and learning how to accept others, even though we're all flawed. And I'm going to be reading a quote from this book. He says, one expression of love is simply to leave someone to their own devices. Okay? Again, one expression of love is simply to leave someone to their own devices. And I thought that was a really good quote for the message that I'm going to be bringing today. And I'm going to kind of piggyback off of the last video I just did in regards to Krishan Rock and Blueface. And I talked about them because they're celebrities and people know them. And I felt like it was applicable to regular everyday people. But essentially, the message I gave in that video was about letting go. I feel like so much time we try to control other people, and that's essentially what game is about, you guys. It is about trying to manipulate somebody to do something for you that you want them to do. And short term, it can work, okay? But when you think about what it does to the other person and to you spiritually in the long run, it might not necessarily be the best thing. Now in life, there are consequences for actions, okay? And you have to understand, not everybody is operating on a spiritual plane. Not everybody is in touch with themselves. And that's why a lot of the times I have to remind myself of that. And it keeps me from being bitter at people, okay? Understanding the way that people operate and why they operate the way that they do really helps me to understand what I need to do to deal with other people. But at the same time, you also have to understand that there comes a time when you need to ask yourself, is my presence in this person's life benefiting them? Okay? And when somebody is treating you in a manner in which they're trying to get away from you, right? They're pulling away from you, they're pushing you away. Your children, they might be in a spirit of rebellion, okay? And it's just causing friction. And the more and more you try to pull and control, the more problems it creates in that dynamic. Well, then there comes a point when you have to ask, am I damaging this person, okay? Am I causing more harm to this person? People don't like to be controlled, okay? And people will let you know in various ways that I don't like this control. I feel like you're putting over my life. I don't like these restrictions. I feel like you're putting over my life, and I just I want to get away from you right now, okay? And one way that you do show love is by stepping back, okay? And I know a lot of people have a problem with doing that because you feel like if you step back from a person, you're going to make them feel like you don't care about them, okay? That you don't love them or that you don't want them, okay? You're afraid that they're going to feel like you didn't fight for them. These are all feelings that I've felt myself, so I definitely understand that. But perhaps you have the wrong perception, okay? There comes a time when you have to tell yourself, job well done, but my services are no longer required here. Okay, I was listening to this Dharma talk, and Dharma talks are they're like Buddhist monks will do them, and it's based on sutras from the Buddha or various Buddhas throughout history. If you practice like Mahayana Buddhism, which is another school of Buddhism. But I was listening to this Buddhist monk, and he was talking about a sutra in which this man got a raft to carry to get on to cross a river, okay? And once he got to the other side, he continued to carry the raft, but it was slowing him down because he needed to put it down. It had already served its purpose, which was to help him to cross the river, okay? Sometimes you serve a particular purpose in a person's life for a time, okay? And then there's a time that comes when they no longer need you. You're weighing them down. And it's not even about you, okay? Because even in this story, it's not that the raft was useless. Maybe somebody else needed that raft, okay? Maybe the person carrying the raft needed to find another way to use it so that it would be useful on land. My point is that a lot of the times we make it about us. Tatiana, my daughter's right here, y'all. I told her if she be quiet, she can lay here while I film the video. But a lot of the times we make another person's journey about us. And when we're no longer needed in their journey, then we feel like we're useless. When we have our own journey and our own purpose ahead of us, okay? Also, just because you part ways with somebody on a particular part of your journey doesn't mean that you can't come back. Okay, a lot of times we make things so permanent. We hate to let go because we feel like it is permanent. But all things in life are impermanent. And that's what I love so much about Buddhism. It is stressed to us constantly that everything in life is impermanent. Okay, even the things that we think in this moment are permanent, the decisions that you make right now that you think are permanent, you can't control your own destiny. You know, it's like water. You have to be like water. You have to kind of flow whichever way life takes you. Okay, and there will be points in time where some people, they're gone and they're gone for good. Okay, and then there are going to be some points in time where they re-enter your life and perhaps they serve a different purpose than what they served before, or you served a different purpose to them than what you previously served before. But you have to be willing to release control and allow that to happen. Because when you try to control the situation and when you try to keep people for longer than what they want to be kept or even need to be kept, all you're doing is crippling both of you. Okay? You should never get in another person's way when it comes to them having opportunities for growth. Okay? Going back to what I was talking about with Krishan Rock and Blueface, and I'm just using this as an example. All those women that continue to try to hold on to this man because they're afraid to let him go, stop him from growing, okay? He never learns the consequences of his actions. He never learns how to have deep relationships with women. And he does learn he can do whatever he wants to do, and there will be absolutely no consequences. Okay? He's not losing anything. Okay? What that does is that continues to allow him to have relationships at the surface level and continue to engage in sexual misconduct by going from women to women. Okay? And I hate to say it that way, y'all, because it seems like I'm being like super preachy or religious. But also in Buddhism, we talk about sexual conduct, you know, doing things with the right intent. And if you're sleeping with people just to fill a void, you're not doing that with the right intent. Okay? If you're sleeping with somebody just to please yourself, you're not doing that with the right intent. Okay? Therefore, you get bad karma from that. Okay? See, I had to do a whole nother video because now I'm starting to talk about things that y'all might not even understand. But my point is, holding on too long is a path to destruction. Okay? It is not an act of love. It is an act of selfishness. Okay? Once you release yourself from your own desires, you will release yourself and the other person for suffering. You cannot walk their path for them. You can only walk your path. Okay? That's all I have to say about that. Y'all have a good day.